The current version of frames is called an iframe. There is another type of frame, and you see it sort of used in Canvas, where you have a bar on one side and then you have different HTML pages on other sides. That's probably not actually done using frames anymore, but that was an old format for web pages where you could break the web page into different parts and each part would scroll independently. That's not a good way to do things, and it has been deprecated, which means that it does not exist in HTML5, though most browsers will probably continue to support it for a while. The modern way of using frames is using an iframe. An iframe is what you do when you are embedding a map from Google Maps, or if you're embedding a video from YouTube, and you go in and you copy and insert the code, and we'll do that in a later exercise. They're actually really easy to use, and you're going to create a page that embeds pages of other code that you've written. So I've got my page here, and you can see that each embedded iframe scrolls, and you can see the complete page that I created for other exercises. And the code for it is pretty simple. I've got a container class here, and I have a header using iframe, and then my first one is my links page, and this embeds the links code. I'm going to stretch this over here so you can see the code. I don't need the debugger right now. So the code for the iframe is iframe source, and then I have the actual web source, not the embedded one in my folder. I have the actual web link here. That's important. I've set the frame border to 0. I handle frame styling in my CSS. And so if I wanted to look at that, I would go to my CSS page, and you can see I've got some really simple styling in here. My iframe, I've had padding at the bottom of 40 pixels. I've set it to a width of 95% of the container. I've set it to a height of 500 pixels, and I've given it a border of 5 pixels solid black. So I'm controlling all the styling here in the CSS page. But it's very easy to include an iframe. You have your source. You have frame border equals 0. That just lets you control everything from CSS. You don't need anything in here. You just close the iframe. And then I've got a blank line and the title for my next iframe. And again, it's just iframe with the source. So you will do some iframes of your own work in the assignment, and you'll see that this is a good way to include content from another source and embed it in your page. Again, the places that you'll use it the most is when you're embedding a video player from YouTube or a map from Google Maps or something like that. There will be other instances, but those are the most common instances for use of an iframe.